Hello, darlings. Merry Christmas and Happy Yule and Happy Solstice and Happy magical time of the year. Welcome to the music room where all the magic happens. I have made a lovely cup of Scottish Highlands tea. We're also going to have a tea biscuit, and we're going to pick some cards for the music stand. One of the, we all get overwhelmed with our 24/7, 9 to 5, just like being a human existing in the world. And sometimes we can kind of need some inspiration. So one of the things that I like to do when I need some inspiration, when I'm feeling a little bit like a robot, is I like to remember the magic of the world that we're surrounded in. So because it is a magical time of year, it's a perfect time to really pick up on those energies that are already out there in the universe. But first, let's have a cup of tea. Cheers. We are going to pick some cards for the music stand. Cards are a wonderful way that you can kind of gain some artistic inspiration, find some, add some beauty to your music space or to your artistic space, and just stay, inspired. And they often are kind of, reminding you of the things that we can easily forget that are around us. So I'm gonna have a tea biscuit, and these remind me of England. I've got some not Scottish Highlands, but some shortbread cookies over there on my fireplace. In truth, I'm hiding them from my other half because he will eat them all. So I keep them in the music room. So anyway, a little tea biscuit, a little cup of tea. We're gonna pick some wonderful oracle cards and just catch up a little bit. It's been a little while since we've had a recorded video. Usually I do a live stream, but it's kind of nice to have a little recorded video every once in a while. I feel like sometimes they can feel more special. So I wanted to give you something and give you some updates as well. Some things that are happening in January. This is mostly if you need a hug video, if you are feeling like you're a robot, if you're feeling like you need some inspiration, you need to be reminded of the fact that you're this amazing creature in the universe, a divine being from fabulous, unimaginable realms. I'm reading a quote from a book that I have on my music stand. I'll have to grab that one too. So we're gonna just become inspired for this little time period together. Okay, first things first, let's pick some new cards. So I did do a live stream recently where we picked, it was probably last month actually, where we picked a Spirit of Nature Oracle card. So we need a new one of those. I also love the fairy oracles. Love these, they're so beautiful. I have all of Brian Froud's books. They are in the top part of the bookshelf there. And I actually might need to add fairies to my lessons today. We'll see. I wonder if the fairies want to, what I love to do is, because your music lesson is like a magical creative time as well. So it's nice to have some artistic inspiration. So sometimes I like to pull a little fairy card, or have a picture of a big fairy that you can imagine is keeping you company for your music lesson. Anyway, that's another video. I do have some videos on fairies, the fairy cards if you're curious, and on the books with Brian Froud, just I guess search for fairies and Violin Masterclass or something. We're also gonna pick an oracle card from the Ascended Masters. I love this deck. This is an old one that I've had for maybe 10 years or so. And then a magical herb oracle, fabulous. And finally, the most symbolic, it's just jam-packed with symbolism and thought-provoking images, the Thoth tarot deck. I just love this one. I had this one on my music stand kind of when the world was going through the initial stages of COVID, and this is the change card, the yin, the yang, and we were using this image to kind of study major and minor scales and things like that, and going through, that crazy amount of change that we're still going through. But so we'll save that one for last. Let's see, I'm gonna put them in order. Let's start with why don't we start with the Spirit of Nature. Now the Spirit of Nature card that I have currently on my stand is the Hawthorn. And to be honest, I have not been looking at this one that much. I haven't, I have a lot of Christmas decorations on my music stand at the moment. So I should probably show it to you. Hold on a second. Let me just clean it up a little bit so that you can see the beautiful music stand. You can see there's quite a lot on the music stand at the moment. This is the area where I keep my cards. You can see there's a card right here. There's a book we're gonna have to pull a thought from. There's some Christmas cards. There's some more cards here and some little ornaments and little things I've been given from students and whatnot over the years. So let me just pop you back. Let's figure out where you were. I want to make sure you can see the fireplace there. Make it nice and cozy for you. Okay. So yes, the Hawthorn card. And I really haven't thought about this one very much, but I do love this round stone structure. And I love this because in ancient history, like really ancient history, we have a lot of megalithic stone circles, monuments. I know that this image here of the circle with the, hole through it is quite a sacred symbol. I need to kind of look more in depth into this one, so I'm sure it'll come around again, but let's find a new one to just freshen things up. So this is taken from the Spirit of Nature Oracle. These are awesome presents. I know it's late for presents, but if you just, tarot or oracle decks are just beautiful. They come with a little book, lovely book, and there's a bunch of cards here. They look like this, and then the other side is the tree. So let's see, let's just give it a little shuffle. Contemplate our magical beingness. And if you think about it, it's really special to be alive. It's really special. And we kind of just forget that it's really magical to experience your reality, experience your life, to play a musical instrument, to have feelings, to eat food, to have people that you love or to have people that you hate even, to just have people around. It's really amazing. And on top of it all, we're flying through the universe on a rock, at like 1,000 miles an hour or something. So anyway, just keeping it in perspective, just giving you some perspective. Let's see. We got the blackberry. Interesting. The blackberry, take a look at that and see what you see. Do you see there's some eyes in there? There's some eyes. There's kind of like a really long mustache looking thing. There's some blackberries. So let's take a look at what that means. Grab the book here. I'm gonna think because there's berries on there, there's probably something having to do with prosperity. Berries are nutritious, right? They're really good for you. So nurturing, perhaps. And it's not a tree. I thought it was a bush. It's interesting. For whatever reason, this is the Celtic Ogham tree calendar, or tree alphabet, I guess. Every month has its own tree, if you're curious. Like an astrological, meaning, like the zodiac, but it's a tree. It's a Celtic one, and its own alphabet as well. So if you're curious, you see down here, that's the symbol for the blackberry. Let's look it up and see what it means, and maybe it can give us some thoughts, some inspiration. So I'm gonna just flip through here, see if we can find the blackberry. Rowan, that's my tree. That's my birth tree, is the rowan, I think. I should know. Pretty sure it's rowan. It's January, whatever January is. Aspen, spindle, honeysuckle, gooseberry, beech. Where are you, Blackbird? It's being elusive. It's being elusive. I wonder what you think. What do you think that blackberry means? We'll just read a little bit about it if I can ever find it. I mean, the earth has flown like 1,000 miles in this time period that I've been looking. Fern, ivy, blackberry, there we go. So there's actually quite a lot about the blackberry. Divinatory meaning, blackberry lore, fairy fruit, in quest of the soul, riches of the vine. Gather in what is dearest to you. Isn't that nice? That's actually perfect for this time period with the holidays and going into the new year. Gather in what is dearest to you. Let's see, I'm going to read this little portion called In Quest of the Soul. The hardiness of the blackberry, which establishes itself easily and is virtually impossible to root out. That's interesting, I didn't know that. Builds a connection with the deep-rootedness of harvest customs. Of course, we should not forget the briars and brambles of fairy tale either. In the story of Sleeping Beauty, in which the prince, to prove his great endurance, has to fight his way through 100 years' growth of briars to reach his goal, the princess, has long been recognized as a veiled account of the quest for the soul. In the Celtic story of the voyage of Maelduin, the travelers visit an island on which the fruit grows plentifully, bringing renewal to those who are almost at the point of death. That's lovely. That is lovely. There's a nice intro paragraph to that too, but I think that's a perfect thing. Gather in what is dearest to you. Okay. Harvesting and the fact that it's hard to kill as well. I love that. So that's our next card. Let's find a fairy card. Now the fairy card that I've had on my music stand for this time period has been really lovely. It's a sword, and it's hard for me to, I actually can't read this writing down here, so I apologize. I don't know its actual name, but it's a flaming blue sword. It's got this like lovely blue energy, and blue is that communication. So as a musician and as a music teacher and as a human, communication and trying to convey what your intention is, what you feel, what the meaning is, all of that behind your words or behind your music or behind your emotions. You know, we can often even hide things from ourselves as well. That was one of my biggest things as growing up, is I couldn't necessarily be honest with how I was feeling about everything. I would put up a big barrier. So I don't know if any of you are out there in the world feeling that way too, but actually once you are able to be honest and be kind of like have a sit down with yourself about what's really going on and how you really feel, that is the moment, if you can acknowledge that, when you can literally change your life and you can take steps towards what you actually want. Because if you can't admit and if you don't know when you push away how you really feel, you don't know. And that's another magical reason that it's awesome to be alive, isn't it? That you can kind of create your own, to a certain extent, you can kind of create your own corner of the universe, your own little part of the universe, you know, with your experience, with where you live, with how you live, with who you have in your life, right? Gathering in who is dearest to you. So anyway, that was the card that I have had. Let's see what else we can find. This is from the Fairies Oracle deck by Brian Froud. We love Brian Froud. And it comes with a bunch of cards and a beautiful book. Right, here's the book, and here are all of the cards. There's a lot of cards. It's quite thick. The front of the card looks like this, which is wonderful, and then the back of the card you've got your little fairy, right? And let's see. And if you're not sure, I mean, I know like this much about fairies, But fairies, apparently, they look after nature. They tend to particular plants, right? They are part of the seasons, things like that. Okay, let me just give them a little shuffle. There we go. We'll see what kind of comes up, right? So I'm gonna just take the very first one off the top here. Ooh, that's lovely. And like, once again, I cannot read the name of that, but it's beautiful. She is this beautiful being that's in this background of, I don't know, it's a little bit chaotic. It's a little bit chaotic in the background, right? Sometimes life can be that way too. But there she is, and she seems to be absorbing it all, right? She's just enjoying it. Or peaceful amongst the chaos, right? Riding the wave, kind of. And she's sitting on a fabulous mushroom, and she's a little creepy, but awesome, you know, absolutely beautiful, just embracing it. And I love her wings as well, beautiful wings. So let's see what this means. It's number 39, Lescuna. I'm not quite sure how to say her name. Sorry for my itchy nose. But let's take a look at her. So this is card 39. Let me pop my fiery sword card back. There we go. So we're gonna be looking from this little book here, 39. Oop, that's not it. It's not page 39, it's card 39. I'll get there. Getting closer. 38. 39. Okay. So it's quite involved. It says sunken treasure, self-discovery, adventure. Sometimes we need a good adventure, you know? That's the thing, is that every day can, to an extent, be an adventure. You never know, like Bilbo Baggins says, you never know what's going to happen to you once you leave your door, you know? So, okay, let's see. The realm of Lascuna, the Frog Queen, is extensive, both below and above the waters. Fairy waters are made up of human emotions, sometimes beautifully clear and sparkling, and sometimes disgustingly murky. Different fairies are attracted to different waters. You could hardly expect to find the soul shrinker or the gluminous doom happily splashing in clear or sparkling waters, although you might find Nellie's, the alchemist, at a murky pool, holding her nose as she waves a clarifying wand over it. And it goes on, let's see. Lascuna knows that there are treasures lost in disasters or abandoned by pirates to be found in the murkiest waters. I love that. Exploring and seeing what we really are, warts and all. We discover parts of our talents and potentials that have been hidden by old traumas and misunderstandings, or by lack of opportunity. This is really an interesting one. That's kind of what we were talking about anyway. So thank you. I will have to explore that more. So discovering yourself, warts and all, and maybe getting to know your potential. All right, among other things. So let me pop this away. Another sip of tea, I think, is in order. I've actually got a quite long day today. I've got to plan my lessons for the day. And I want to make sure that I give you some little announcements as well. So there are some important things. Stick around for the end if you can. Important things happening in January. Why don't we, let's just move along to the Thoth deck. We will save the Ascended Masters and the Magical Herb Oracle for another day. We'll take a look at this, and I love this deck. Now, the one that I've had on my music stand for a while now has been the Three of Discs, and to my small knowledge, discs have to do with work or things that you are like, that take or require energy, right? So the 3 is quite a beautiful number, sacred symbol, the pyramid, the energy, the manifesting, the creation, all of that. So I've really enjoyed having discs on my music stand. And the way that we're doing this one is I'm not going to shuffle it. I'm just going to pick the 4 of discs. Eventually we're going to go through all of the discs. So let's see here. The next one is the 4 of discs. And this is the power card. So let's take a moment to look at it and see what is there, all the symbolism. So you can see it's in orange. There's lots of triangular and square shapes. There's 4 tiny squares, and they're in a big square. And then there's kind of like, I can't quite tell in the background, like, is that a star or a triangle of some kind? There's a road, like a path that's going towards the center here. There's a circle at the top, and there's 4 little triangles. Some of them are pointing upwards, some of them point downwards, some of them have a little line between them, right, and point upwards and point downwards. So there's something having to do with maybe balance as well, or contrast. Power, the power card. Let's see what this one means. Now there's a website that I love to use. I'm gonna look it up right on my tablet right here. Got my tablet. Let me go to the internet. And we're gonna just type in Thoth power card. Oh, let's see. It's the 4 of discs. Let's see what that comes up with. 4 of discs. And there's a website I love that is called Angel Paths. I always use Angel Paths. Okay, I'm going to read just a little bit of it. It's quite extensive, this one. The Lord of Power represents the time when we achieve a stable level of material balance, at least for that moment in time. At the purely mundane level, it might come up after we had settled into a new home or undertaken major improvements. The card is, at this level, much concerned with asset security and material bounty. And it goes on for a few paragraphs. Let's see, working with the 4 of discs, what it says. The affirmation is, I offer my power in the service of love. And I just love that. That's so beautiful. That's actually really important. When you sit down to do whatever it is that you're going to do, try to think of an intention behind what you're doing. So, for example, like when I sit down to teach my music lessons every day, even if I'm like really busy, I always think to myself or say out loud to myself into the space, thank you for this space for us to experience the learning of music. I hope that it is fun, that I can, provide a happy and beautiful and loving space for my students to learn, and, let music unfold from their soul, basically little things like that. So, like setting an intention behind it, like, is really, really helpful. And that can also inspire some more creative thinking, because there's like the mundane aspect of what you're doing, right? But then there's also like how it actually affects the other person, or how it might affect your environment, or the intention behind it. Just like an actor when they're perhaps I like know nothing about acting, but just like an actor would probably, I would assume, have to understand what the character is feeling. Why are they saying what they're saying? Are they saying what they're saying because they're manipulative? Are they saying what they're saying because they're really sad and they genuinely, feel a certain way? Things like that. So if you can kind of set an intention for what you want to, like the energy behind, that's what I'm trying to say, the energy behind what you're doing, that can be really beautiful. That can inspire a lot of creativity as well. So the intention behind this little video here is to have fun, to help us feel inspired and remember that we're these beautiful beings of like light from God, basically. So, and that we, yes, live in a beautiful world, and we have many things that we have to do every day. but we can still have fun. We can still be fresh and creative and inspired. And we always have that umbilical cord to the divine. We always have that. So talking with the divine, talking with the higher power that you can relate to, I guess, that you connect with, is such a perfect way to stay inspired as well. So anyways, darlings, let me tell you my announcements really quickly. And I don't want it to seem like a commercial. It's just I do want you to know about this because I have quite a I have a little waiting list at the moment for lessons. So in January, I'll be teaching a group class. It's a very affordable class. It's actually a free class for weekly students already. So if you're already a weekly student, it'll be totally free. It's 2 times a month, maybe 3 sometimes. There's, maybe 3 Thursdays in a month. Who knows? But it's going to be on Thursdays, every other Thursday. There is a lot of information of it on my website, Violin Viola Masterclass group classes, Violin Viola Masterclass group classes. I'm going to link it below for you. It's going to be for violin, but you can take it if you play the viola, but it's going to be a little more complicated for you, and you might not be able to completely do everything that we're doing with the class. So I'm going to just say it's for violin. And it's an hour class. It's at 8:30 Eastern Standard Time, and it starts on January 7th. So if you want to know more about this, please check out Violin Viola Masterclass's group classes. There's only one at the moment. We have a studio circle the last Friday of every month. There's more information about that on my website too. That's like a Patreon and studio thing. So that's our practice performance class, sharing what we've been learning during the month and practicing playing for others, which is very scary, very scary. In fact, there's a lot of videos of me being really nervous in like just videos that I was making for you. My bow would shake and I'd be so nervous just because I had such, I was, as a musician and as an artist, I had like really bad performance anxiety. So it's not something that's weird or anything. It's just something we have to just practice. The more you practice doing something, the easier it becomes, and the more fun it can become, the more you can like tap into just the flow. So anyway, I hope that you'll check that out. That's going to be starting on Thursday, January 7th. We're going to be using the Leopold Auer Graded Course of Violin Playing Book 1. It's all open strings. So anyways, with that, darlings, I hope that you stay inspired. Let's read one little quote from this blessed book before we leave for today. This is from the, Terence McKenna. We love Terence McKenna. It says, "Nature is alive and talking to us. This is not a metaphor." And I was reading you this quote earlier, or trying to. "You are a divine being. You matter. You count. You come from realms of unimaginable power and light, and you will return to those realms." And I just love that. Let's find another one though. Let's see. Oh, "The most beautiful things in the universe are inside the human mind." The most beautiful things in the universe are inside the human mind. Isn't that lovely? Love, love, love. So this is a wonderful book. It gives me great inspiration and reminds me when I'm feeling out of tune how to become more in tune. So check this out. Nature is alive and talking to us. This is not a metaphor, and it's by Terence McKenna. All right, darlings. Love and leave you. Thank you for watching and listening. Just remember that you're fabulous, and I'll see you soon. All right.